Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and this is another episode of Ridiculous Loadout. As you may already know, this is a series I started way back when in the Battlefield 3 days, basically whoring myself out for cheap views, running a suggested loadout from one of you in the comments section. Today, Johanny Eriksson suggested a loadout called the Battlefield 3 Premium Engineer. Now, this consisting of the MTAR with the hollow sight, a suppressor, and ergo grip, which I believe was the only grip available in Battlefield 3. Haven't played it in a while, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Also, the flat desert camo and the 1911 in the S-Stack configuration from, well, you remember in Battlefield 3 we had this kind of a developer's gun, which later was added to a DLC in Battlefield 3. I don't remember which DLC that was, but it had a suppressor as well as a flashlight on it, and it actually turned out to be a pretty good and fun addition to the game. I remember I just played several rounds just running around with my pistol, you know, not actually firing with the primary because it was so much fun. And initially I thought it would be an absolutely terrible weapon in the game, and you know what, with the suppressor and the flashlight kind of giving away your position, but I was glad to be proven wrong in that case. Well, you know, I guess that's it. Let's go on to my other weapons here. Outside that, I also have the box cutter knife, and the small rocket launcher, and the repair tool. Now, I have to make a note. Excuse me if my voice sounds even worse than usual here in this video. I do have a cold right now, and well, I have just snot hanging every which way, and I'm drowning in it pretty much, so I just have to kind of make do with this commentary. But let's get back to the gun here. So the MTAR in real life is this really cool Israeli PDW based on the TAR-21 assault rifle, and it's really cool assault rifle. It's ambidextrous, it's a bullpup design, obviously, as you can see. It's reliable, hell, it's even waterproof, and the IWI apparently even makes a conversion kit for the thing for the Russian 545 ammo. I mean, what's not to love? And hell, in Battlefield 4 it's a carbine, and as such it's available to all classes in the game. And this means that you could in theory be a recon player with an MTAR, you know, running around shooting people in the ass. And this is one thing that's always been sort of bothering me in Battlefield 4, because, you know, when you come across a recon player, a recon enemy, I should say, in Battlefield 4, you don't necessarily expect him to gun you down in half a second with a carbine, you know. You think he's gonna have a bolt-action rifle. So each time you unexpectedly at least get shot with a carbine-wielding recon, you know, I just burst out going, at least have some respect for your classman, you know, you're a recon for fuck's sake. But that's all well and good, and that's not really talking about the particulars of the gun. Let's go and see what they are as they pertain to Battlefield 4. The MTAR puts out a standard damage model of 24 maximum at 8 meters, which drops off to 15.4 at 50 meters, which means that out to around 26 meters or so, it remains a 5-hit kill to the body. Now, this wouldn't really be a problem with this kind of rate of fire, but it actually comes after a DICE patch, a Battlefield 4 patch, I should say, nerfed the 25 damaging weapons in Battlefield 4 down to 24 maximum, so you'd need, you know, just one more bullet in close quarters to get a kill. But there's been a lot of misinformation about this online right after the patch, with people saying that these weapons will now be useless. They're actually not. It's only one bullet and only inside something like 8 or 10 meters. So it wouldn't be. You wouldn't know it after that. At medium to long ranges because of the damage drop-off, and because they didn't nerf the minimum damage drop-off either. And now, its muzzle velocity is a mediocre 510 meters a second, and its rate of fire is, of course, a blazing fast 900 rounds per minute. Its short reload is clocks in at a mediocre 2.35 seconds, but its long reload time, that is where you have to cycle the bolt, to get one in the chamber, isn't too far behind that, clocking in at 2.75 seconds. So, this actually means that whatever you do, a short reload or wait for a long reload, you won't really see that much of a difference in time lost, and it wouldn't really matter whether you run out of bullets completely or just reload after using up half a magazine. And speaking of reloading, the reload animation on this gun is just freaking awesome. I just love it, and I could just wish I wish I could just reload this weapon in the game the entire time instead of just firing it. It's just that good. Now, the recoils on this thing are what you'd expect from a bullpup Battlefield 4 weapon, namely 0.34 up, and interestingly, the side-to-side recoils are not equal, so they're a bit uneven, so it's likely to pull to one side more than the other. Now, its first shot multiplier is a very healthy 2.6, so and this is where you'd probably want to use something like an angled grip or a folding grip to dampen that first shot multiplier if you're going to be tap firing this weapon at anything at medium range maybe, although I don't really see the point of using it outside close quarters because it's just got such a high rate of fire that those recoils are really going to be making it not very accurate at all. But this is where the bullpup weapons really shine in Battlefield 4. Its moving ADS spread is a bit less than classic layout weapons in the game, so you can really rely on this thing to, when aiming down sight on the move, which some people like to do because you don't really have to come to a complete stop and present a very good target to the enemy while you shoot at them. And, because this gets you killed more often than not. And an interesting note about the MTAR is that it has the slowest spread decrease per second of all the carbines in Battlefield 4, namely 7.7 degrees per second, which means that on automatic fire, and especially, at range, if you're shooting at range, you're not going to be hitting anything with any certain degree of accuracy. It's still a cracking good fun weapon though, and it looks amazing. It looks like something straight out of District 9, the movie, but, at range, it's just not going to be very accurate in the game. Now, in most cases, I wouldn't necessarily use a suppressor in such a game like Battlefield 4, for example, just because it decreases the muzzle velocity, and in the case of Battlefield 3, I believe it also moved the damage drop-off closer to the shooter. But as I found out recently while playing some Tactical Rush with Pixel Mac, a friend of mine, these things really have their place in the game. I mean, in Rush, you can make some tactical decisions with your approach to the enemy and, come right up their ass without them knowing it, and until it's too late, basically, and ARM and M come and take several players with you before they can really pinpoint where you are and where the fire is coming from. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ridiculous Loadout, and now because I don't feel like suffering alone, Johanny Eriksson must also run this loadout and upload it to YouTube, and I'll accept the link down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video, that helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.